A very good morning, dear students. Today we will be starting with the rules of subject and predicate. So let us see what is there in the module ahead. See, subject and predicate. As we have recalled in the previous video, a subject is what? It is a thing about which we are talking in a sentence. Our main focus is on that thing. That is why it is called a subject. For example, I am out of station. So I, that means me. So I'm talking about myself. So that is why I will be the subject. And the remaining part of the sentence, which is not a subject, will be the predicate. So there are some rules which will allow you to identify the subject and predicate in various types of sentences. So let us have a look. What are these? Rules for subject and predicate. Rule number 1. It says that in most sentences, the subject usually comes before the verb. Now, as I told you, what is a subject? It will come before the verb. Now, what is a verb? Verb are the action words. So, the subject about which we are talking in a sentence, it will come before the verb. In order to understand this, let us take one example. So, here is the example. The first one. You have broken my pencil. So, here we are saying that you have broken my pencil. So, here you is what? You is the subject because that person has broken the pencil. And have is a verb. So as you can see, as per the rule, you is coming before the verb. So that is why the subject is coming before the verb. Let us take one more example. I am going to the US next month. So what is the subject? That is I. Am going is a verb. Again, the rule is applied here. Subject is coming, which is I, before the verb, which is am going. Let us take one more example. My coat is red. So about what we are talking? We are talking about my coat, which is a subject, and is a verb. So that is why, again, as per the first rule, the subject, which is my coat, is coming before the verb. So the first rule says that the subject will be placed before the verb. However, there are various sentences where this rule will not be applied, which you will learn further. Now let us see rule number 2, that is for imperative sentences. Now again, what are imperative sentences? As we have discussed that imperative sentences are those sentences which generally gives a order, command, request, or they describe a choice. So those sentences are generally called imperative sentences. For example, please don't go there. So it is what? It is an imperative sentence. Don't do that. So it is a command, an order. It is also an imperative sentence. So let us see how this sentence and its rules will work in subject and predicate. However, in imperative sentences, the subject is implied, that is assumed. Now, what is implied and assumed? That means you have to think the subject and you have to place it on your own. That means subject will not be given in the sentence. You have to assume it. You have to think it on your own. Now, let us take some of the example. The first one is, please sit down. So, to whom we are saying sit down? Anyone can be the person. Like me, you, or anyone who is standing, we can say sit down. But it is not clearing our thought to whom we are talking or who is the subject. So that is why what we are going to do, we are going to apply the assumption rule. That means we have to put the subject on our own. We have to assume that this is the subject. So how we did? We added a word, that is, please, you sit down. So please, you sit down. What is you? You is a assumption. So we have added a assumption, that is you, and which is also a subject. So here the sentence become meaningful. Please, you sit down. So here the sentence is giving the clear-cut subject, and as well as we have implied the assumption as per the rule. Now let us take one more example, that is, don't make noise. Now to whom we are saying don't make noise? We are not sure about it. Anyone can be the person to whom we are saying don't make noise. So that is why, in order to understand, again, we are going to apply which rule? Second rule, that is of imperative sentence. We are going to apply the assumption. Now again, we assume you, which is a subject. We have placed it before the sentence, don't make noise. So you is the subject, which is also an assumption for an imperative sentence, and it gives a complete meaning. You don't make noise. Let's take the last example for this rule, get out. So to whom we are saying get out? We are unaware. Anyone can be the person. So in order to follow the rule, once again, we are applying an assumption. You, which is an assumption of a subject, means which is a subject, you get out. So here the sentence is more meaningful and the rule of subject and predicate has been applied to it. Let us move ahead. Now, the rule number 3 is for exclamatory sentences. What are exclamatory sentences? These are those sentences which have an exclamatory mark in it. That is like this. So it is an exclamatory mark. They have an exclamatory mark and they generally express our strong desires or emotion. For example, wow, hooray, bravo. These are the general terms which we use with exclamatory mark. So let us move to the rule. That is, the subject comes before the verb. So here in the exclamatory sentence, the rule is saying that the subject will come before the verb. Let us take some example to understand it better. What a great singer she is. So here we are talking about a girl who is a great singer. So here she is what? She is a subject. And is what? Is a verb. So again we are applying the same rule that a subject is coming before the verb. Let us take one more example. What an awful dream I had last night. So here we are talking about a dream which I had. So I will be what? I will be the subject and had is the verb. Again, the subject which is I is being placed before had which is a verb. Let us take the last example for this rule. We won the match. So here the main focus of the sentence is on we. So we will be the subject and won is what? Is a verb. So we won the match is a complete sentences where the subject is coming before the verb. This is how the rule for exclamatory sentences work. Let us move ahead to rule number 4. Now rule number 4. That is for interrogative sentences. What are interrogative sentences? Interrogative sentences are those sentences which generally have a question mark like this and they ask a question in them. So those sentences are called interrogative sentences. For example, where do you live? What is your name? So these are what? These are interrogative sentences. Now let us see the rule. In interrogative sentence, the subject comes after the verb. So as you can see in the previous rules, we were saying that the subject will come before the verb. But now it is opposite. We are saying that the subject will come after the verb. So let us take an example to elaborate it. Are you ready to go? So here are is what? Are is a verb. You is a subject. So we are asking a question, are you ready to go? So are is a verb which has been placed before a subject which is you. So how? This sentence is applying the rule that is the subject is not coming before the verb as you were talking in the previous rule. Here the subject is coming after the verb. Let us take one more example. Where are the cupcakes? Question mark. So here are is what? Are is the verb and the cupcakes is the subject because we are talking about mainly in the sentence. So that is why the cupcakes are the subject. Again the rule is applied. The verb which is are